Hello, this is a different type of video. I've been seeing lots of talk about leader in the community, and I kind of just want to yap about what I personally think are leader's biggest weaknesses and how to play around them to win your matches. I've seen a lot of players complain about E-leader, as it's very annoying to play against and it's very punishing to very small mistakes, so it requires you to be a lot more disciplined than what most players are used to. The most important part of playing against E-leader is your opening. You can't let the leader have a good start, as that's when the comp starts to feel very suffocating. It's okay to just chill and let the enemies make mistakes first, as they will be trying to go on your territory with less paint, as most leader comps will lack good painting range because they don't have a pen. One of leader's main weaknesses is that the downtime on the weapon is really long, so you want to try and play sides whenever you're holding zone. Leader isn't as versatile as Pencil, so it can't track all the sides at the same time because it only has one shot and not 5. Look at our positioning on this hold. Me and Brand are both making presence on two different sides of the map. We are forcing them to make a decision on who to clear, and we have Ice and Q-Mid to react to what they choose and punish accordingly. Even though we died, they are using every special besides Cooler just for zone cap, so the leader won't be able to set up comfortably for their own hold. This pressures Moonlight to make a decision to let us slide with their own specials since we have them faster than them, or to try and dry push with Cooler to bring down their penalty. They choose to dry push, and honestly we responded pretty poorly, but Basil died the Q, so the rest of the Moonlight players are forced to play with below us, so it lets us cap for free with Booyah Bomb. After we cleared a decap bubble, we decided to go on the sides of the map again, as we don't want to push into the Kraken, but rather make Basil feel pressure so that the rest of the Moonlight members turn around to try and help her. You can see the Kraken and the Zap turn around to cover for Basil, and we know the decap is from Son. Even though we don't get any immediate kills here, the value from this is huge. After the zone cap, we know they aren't coolered, so we go for aggressive trades that ruin their special economy, and while it makes the game look pretty even here, we know we have the advantage for the next team fight because of our special economy. Another downside with leader is that Weightbreaker is pretty lackluster, so you're going to be fighting with 3 good specials rather than 4 every time you load into a match. So this makes the special advantage from us look even better since we just have the stronger specials. Another weakness with E-leader comps is that since Zap lacks the painting range that Pencil has, it has to put itself in harm's way just to get a cooler, as eventually you will run out of spawn paint and will have to position yourself pretty aggressively just to get cooler in time. Just by playing the sides make it very hard for Basil to get a pick, and if the leader isn't opening up the retake with a pick, that means you're forcing other specials from the enemy team just for zone cap rather than bringing down their own penalty. We managed to force out everything besides Weightbreaker again, and they barely get zone cap. This is really good for us as we can just pop our specials for free and push our advantage. Me and Bran are again playing opposite sides of the map, but unfortunately Basil kills Ice and Q-Mid. This honestly could have been a KO from us, but we just played the hold very poorly. Even though they retook zone without popping any specials, their comp is just too slow to get anything off of it, and that's also just a weakness of leader. You can kill from across the map, but leader is a heavy weapon, so it takes longer for the weapon to set up properly compared to Pencil. And you can see here, me just taking the side with Crab makes the rest of the Moonlight members split, which allows us to keep holding our advantage. Omega actually responds correctly here by ignoring us and trying to catch a timing on any of us. As soon as the Mega pops bubble, we respond even better. We choose to ignore it and go to their side, and instead of the bubble leading to a push in our spawn, it ends up being useless and lets us retake pretty comfortably, as they all turn to kill us instead of going forward. As you can see, our game plan was basically to never let Basil set up comfortably on their holds. Usually people think you need special spam to deal with leader, but it's honestly just using the map better than the enemy team. Leader comps will always lack versatility that pen comps have to respond to flanks or people playing sides, and it makes it so the players have to rely on the leader to respond correctly every single time, and in a game like this, Splatoon, it's just too hard. Another good pick into E-Leader is Rapid Pro. The weapon itself displaces E-Leader a lot and doesn't have to play like a backline, especially if you already have a pen. This just gives you more options versus Leader, especially if the map itself doesn't really allow for flanks and such. We have a pretty bad opening here, but since I have Crab I can deny any attempt to set up Basil further into our spawn. They try to bubble Basil in, but we just focus it really hard, which ruins their entire push. When making our push here, our goal isn't to try and brute force a tower path, rather we make sure to apply pressure, paint, and tap tower and bait out a response from Moonlight. We messed this up pretty badly, but it's fine. We recognize we can't push at all and we chill out since we see Moonlight popping cooler to try and counter push. Because Moonlight has a leader, their counter push is pretty slow, and since we have double long range weapons, they can't really get into a spot to contest my grab, so we end up retaking for free. Any non-cooler kill on leader is huge because most of them run respawn Punisher, so when they die I believe they're out of the fight for like 10 seconds, I forget the number, but it gives us enough time to set up a push so that we won't lose mid for the entire match from here on out. Because Basil is dead for so long, it makes Moonlight feel like they have to make a play to buy time for Basil to respawn, but we're ready for it and we end up getting a non-cooler kill on Basil again, which basically already ends the match at this high level. When a 3v4 is happening for more than 20 seconds in the span of a minute, it's super hard to recover from, and we kind of just keep fighting because we know how much of an advantage we have. Because of the E-Leader death, it makes Moonlight rush into mid aimlessly. We already have a lot of map control. And it just makes the game become team deathmatch for a few seconds, but when these sort of fights happens is when sharking is the most effective, as there's just too much chaos for anyone to keep track of. Our goal for pushing here is just to take space without fighting too hard. We know Moonlight has to come to us and they don't really have the specials to force us out, so we're basically just waiting until we have our own specials to full commit to getting a good lead. You can see Moonlight recognizing they have to fight us, and they try to flank tower, but we just have too much map control, so the fight is beyond disadvantageous for them. Our next goal is to get the last checkpoint and relax. We know they are getting desperate and they still have no specials, and we don't want to give any picks for Basil to bring them back into the game, so we focus on the other members of Moonlight. Moonlight just has too much map to clear, and without the painting range of a pen, it's really hard. Sure, the Zap can paint, but painting their drops here and potentially losing cooler is not a risk they want to take. That's why Pencil, in my opinion, is still the best cooler weapon in the game. It just provides too much for the team. The game's basically over from here on out. We choose the KO because it's a scrim, so we want to practice doing that, but in reality it's not worth potentially wiping for a KO when we can just hold this position for the rest of the game, because the advantage is just too strong for us at this point. Leader comps can definitely still win, but I'd say it's a lot more mechanically demanding from the other team, and you aren't allowed to make many mistakes or else the game just becomes too hard and we could come back in. If you like these sort of videos, let me know, and I'll do more in the future. I hope you guys have a good day.